All right. Morning, everyone. Let's kick it off here. All right. Nice session out of the U.S. yesterday. Big rally off of major support. I'll show that chart in just a little bit. The S&P rallying specifically off of support. We had a bit of a wobble on Monday. Looked like the market was under pressure. Then Tuesday, markets not a big day of selling, but closed on their lows after kind of hanging in there most of the day. Yesterday we saw a nice reversal to the upside. Nothing necessarily significant there to really help us give us that rally, but I think markets maybe just settled in a little bit after the Alibaba listing and things quieting down and able to just have a look at things again. If you see what's going on in Asia this morning, we had a big rally out of the Nikkei, up over 1%. That was obviously due to the yen weakening back out again. Same sort of thing. The exporters absolutely flying. The export statistics out of Japan have been fantastic as of late, and that's obviously due because of the weaker yen, which has made their exports a hell of a lot more competitive. I think what's one of the biggest new pieces of news out there, you've got Shanghai that's actually rallied here late in the session. And the Hang Seng's actually down at the moment. So we're actually down about 40 points in the Hang Seng as we speak. But 0.4%, I meant to say. In China, we've got there's a big whisper at the moment that that Zhu, the head of the central bank, the Chinese central bank, is on his way out. And a lot of people are saying, obviously, there's the kind of whispers going on that he's leaving because there's big crap coming there, and he's trying to leave so that he doesn't have to deal with it, and he's not the one that's left kind of holding the bag. So I think that's going to be an interesting story that we follow over the next little while. He probably is going to be leaving sometime soon, regardless, whether it's because of a really negative situation that he's trying to avoid being in the limelight during that time is a whole nother story. So we'll have to watch as that story plays out over the next couple of days. But just be aware that it's out there and could spook markets if he leaves. Especially how it's done. If there's not a replacement lined up that everybody's really excited about, it could really spook markets in the short term. All right, no corporate action to report on the day. Market data out today. We've got Spanish PPI at 9 o'clock. We've got money supply numbers, M3 money supply numbers out of the Eurozone at 10. Retail sales out of Italy at 11. Local PPI month-on-month and year-on-year numbers at 11:30. And then everything else is in the States. We've got initial jobless claims, durable goods orders, market services PMI, and Bloomberg Consumer Comfort. All right, let's get into the maps. Okay, there's some big picture stuff that I wanted to have a look at here first. First thing we're going to look at the 5-year chart on the weekly of the U.S. dollar ZAR, and that right there is not a pretty picture. If you see there, the closing high on the weekly is right here at 11.12, which we are 5 cents below at the moment, or above in dollar terms. This is a very, very negative setup. We know that the chart on the Rand has looked bearish this whole time. We've held on the trend line the whole way. We've been all over that, telling you about it down here when we were testing at 1040. 1040. We were telling you that this is the chance. 1035 and 1040. We were telling you that this is the place to play short Rand. You can see we had a huge move off that level. We were talked about it after we got this breakout, a consolidation here. And I'm going to make another call here and say that we're going to go significantly lower in the Rand between now and the first quarter of next year. I think we're going to move all the way out to 12 to 1 on the Rand, or very close, maybe 1190, 1180, 1190. I think we're going to move out there. You got to keep in mind what that's probably going to do to certain stocks here. Obviously, the dual listed should get a nice boost from that. Some of the companies with foreign earnings will also get a nice boost from that. A lot of the ones that are importing a lot of things that have their costs in dollars, for instance, but earnings in rands, it's going to be a big negative for. The interest rate sensitive stocks will probably be a big negative for. So just keep that in mind. This is what this chart's telling us. If we close above 11.12 at the end of this week, which is tomorrow already, then I think it's a big, big negative for our local counters. Or sorry, for some of the rent hedge counters here. All right. Let's look at the S&P 500. I wanted to show this one quickly this morning. We had a major level here at about 1980, which you can see there. It's really becoming quite a huge level. Call it 1985, in fact. And you can see here yesterday we came down and we tested it beautifully on the open. We dropped it just initially at the beginning part of the session, tested down a couple points lower, only to reverse higher. That was a very, very crucial hold. For me, this is a big little range that we're in right now. Or sorry, I should say important little range that we're in right now, because it's a small range, but very important. We made a lot of consolidation back here in July. We couldn't break up, so we reversed down off of it. That was kind of the biggest sell-off we've had in a while, even though it wasn't significant. We've pushed back up through it, and we've been consolidating on top of it for over a month now. So this is very, very important to me. We're going to have to see here. We pop above 210 on the S&P. Obviously, it's a nice bullish breakout. We'll probably see a quick 30 points to the upside. But if we drop 1985, then I think that we could be under pressure toward the end of the year. All right. We'll look at Exaro here. Exaro, if you look on we're going to go all the way back out to a 2-year. I know we showed this on Friday. I just wanted to kind of show you confirmation. You can probably look at this two ways. So we can look at this all the way down to the wicks here, where we dropped this 135 level, and we dropped it convincingly. We only dropped this level really on Friday. You could also kind of maybe draw it from here but either way, that we've dropped support here and we're below that. I think we're going to need to see it get above 135 to see us hold above support and to see us start to regain any sort of bullishness toward Exaro. But at the moment, things looking ominous here, and it looks like this thing can come lower as one of the laggards in the sector. Bidvest. I wanted to show Bidvest here. I'm going to zoom it forward a little bit. But Bidvest came out with a statement on Friday saying that the recent several months, Friday, on Tuesday, of operations, they've been under real pressure. It's been a struggle for them. Stock obviously reacted negatively, but had a hard bounce off of it into the close. We traded down to 80 and a half or something, I believe, only to close up at 84 and a quarter. And you can see this is really, to me, setup's really looking good. It's really looking symmetrical. I want to see this thing drop to 80 before you can potentially have a good reason to short it or move back to the top end of this range maybe. But I think those negative comments are going to be interesting. I want to see if this thing can drop support. Like I said, if it does, we've got a nice move to the downside coming of about probably 20 Rand. So just watch that 280 level very carefully. I think potentially there could be some real downside there if it gets through that. Old Mutual also had had announcement on Friday. They're gonna do an IPO of their U.S. Investment unit. They're going to spin that out. Obviously, you're going to get they'll have that listing here. It'll probably be another dual listing, which probably should unlock some real value. We've kind of wicked down to the same sort of levels, and we've also had closes at the same sort of levels up here, just south of 34. This is a big level. I mean, we pushed up slightly from here yesterday in London, so I would expect us to open a little bit higher than this. We also paid a divvy on Friday. So that's one of the reasons for the softness. But I think interesting here, we sold off the top a little bit. The chart's not looking very bullish, but I think this level is going to be important to watch. If we can hold at this level at 33.90, then I think that it's, this potentially could have some upside to it with this unbundling of the IPO, or unbundling of that unit and the new IPO, the cash raising that's going to come out of that. They'll probably pay a special div because they're going to get about 4 billion Rand in cash. I think that's significant. So watch this one over the next couple sessions. Could be a little bit of action around Old Mutual. The last one here I'm going to show is Anglos. The reason why I want to show Anglos is because we talked about this the other day. We talked about our target of 250 to 255, somewhere there. Let's see here. What was the number that we said? We talked about the height of 273. Yeah, so we talked about, call it 20, Duran to downside here when we dropped from 274. We basically we came down more or less touched very close to what was our target here on this the drop of this head and shoulder at 255 on Friday. On Tuesday. I keep feeling like we're on a Monday here. You can see there intraday we had a nice reversal off of that, and then if you look at the London chart, you can see that we made a hard reversal yesterday in London to the upside. So we're showing that we closed at about 266 yesterday in London in Rand terms. So we're obviously expecting a bigger up in today out of Anglos, much bigger up and out of Billy's. Billy's pushed even harder than that, up 3.25% in London yesterday. Definitely maybe opening the door for some reversals in some of these, in some of our mining stocks. It's interesting that some of these things getting to the targets. We had the Anglos reverse there yesterday. We've got Impalas that's gotten to the target, especially if you look on the 2-year, which is right down around the same sort of lows that it was at before. You've got a couple of Kumba that's reached its target now. You've hit a lot of the targets here on these sell-offs, so it could be an interesting timing here. Maybe set up for a nice dead cat bounce in some of these mining stocks over the next few sessions. So keep that in mind today, guys, and good luck out there.